A stick swung like a weapon, a crushing hit that sparked a 6-year rivalry, and a trash-talking pest who forced the NHL to change its rules. These are the most notorious NHL bad guys, then and now. Eddie Shore, the father of hockey villainy. When you think of hockey villains, Eddie Shore is where the conversation begins. Playing for the Boston Bruins in the 1920s and 30s, Shore redefined what it meant to play tough.
He was generally the best skater there was. He was stronger than anybody. He was tougher than anybody, and he was a leader.
A 4-time Hart Trophy winner and 7-time All-Star, his talent was undeniable. But what made him infamous was his temper and brutal style of play. Shore's most infamous moment came when he ended the career of Toronto Maple Leafs forward Ace Bailey with a reckless hit. That incident didn't just change the league, it forever branded Shore as one of hockey's most ruthless players. His villainy wasn't limited to his playing days. As the owner of the Springfield Indians, Shore's treatment of players was legendary for all the wrong reasons. He made them perform maintenance work in the arena and was notoriously stingy. Eddie Shore wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of old-time hockey villainy. Dave the Hammer Schultz, enforcer extraordinaire. Fast forward to the 1970s, and you'll find Dave Schultz, better known as the Hammer, patrolling the ice for the Philadelphia Flyers. Schultz wasn't just a bruiser, he was the enforcer of the Broad Street Bullies era. In the 1974-75 season, he racked up an NHL record 472 penalty minutes, a feat that remains untouched. But Schultz wasn't just about fights. He contributed to the Flyers' back-to-back Stanley Cup championships, scoring 29 goals while striking fear into opponents. His habit of using boxing-style hand wraps during fights led to a league-wide ban, cementing his place as one of the NHL's most controversial enforcers. Whether you loved or hated him, Schultz's presence was impossible to ignore. His physicality and relentless style made him a key figure in one of hockey's most notorious eras. Brad Marchand, the ultimate pest. If there's one player who defines modern-day hockey villainy, it's Brad Marchand. The Boston Bruins captain is a 6-time All-Star and one of the league's top scorers. But for all his skill, Marchand has racked up an impressive record of suspensions and fines. From slew-footing to low-bridge hits, Marchand's dirty play has made him the most hated player in the NHL over the past decade. And let's not forget his bizarre habit of licking opponents during games. Despite his antics, Marchand is beloved in Boston for his skill and leadership. At 36, Marchand shows no signs of slowing down or cleaning up his game. He's proof that you can be both a star and a villain in today's NHL. Ron Hextall, fiery goalie turned villain. Ron Hextall broke the mold of traditional goaltenders. Playing for the Philadelphia Flyers in the 1980s and 90s, Hextall was a force in the crease.
To the open net, he has scored! Ron Hextall!
But he was just as famous for his fiery temper. He won the Vezina and Conn Smythe trophies in 1987, but his willingness to fight and throw his stick at opponents made him a polarizing figure. Hextall's villainy didn't stop with his playing days. As general manager of the Flyers from 2014 to 2018, he alienated staff and fans with controversial draft decisions and trades. His refusal to consult scouts on moves like the Braden Shen trade and his choice to draft Nolan Patrick over Cale Makar earned him harsh criticism. Even Flyers legend Bobby Clarke publicly condemned Hextall's leadership. Recently, Hextall was the GM of the Pittsburgh Penguins, a rival of his beloved Flyers. His complex legacy as both a player and a manager makes him one of the most fascinating villains in hockey history. Marty McSorley, the swing that ended a career. Marty McSorley is remembered as one of the NHL's toughest enforcers, but his career took a dark turn during a game on February 21, 2000, between the Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks. With just 4.6 seconds left in the game, McSorley swung his stick and struck Donald Brashear in the head. Brashear fell backward, hit his head on the ice, and was knocked unconscious, suffering a severe Grade 3 concussion. The incident didn't just end McSorley's season, it changed his life. He was charged with assault, making one of the rare times an on-ice incident led to criminal charges. the NHL suspended him for the remainder of the 1999-2000 season and playoffs, a total of 23 games. The suspension was later extended to 1 year, the longest for an on-ice incident in modern NHL history. McSorley was convicted of assault with a weapon in October 2000 and sentenced to 18 months of probation. His NHL contract expired during his suspension, and he never played another game in the league. While his career as an enforcer was memorable, this incident remains one of the most shocking moments in NHL history. Claude Lemieux, playoff pest extraordinaire. Claude Lemieux made a career out of being annoying, both to his opponents and their fans. He was a force in the playoffs, winning 4 Stanley Cups and earning a reputation as one of the NHL's best postseason performers. But it wasn't just his scoring that people remember. Lemieux's most infamous moment came during the 1996 playoffs when he hit Chris Draper from behind, smashing Draper's face into the boards. The hit left Draper with multiple facial fractures and sparked a bitter rivalry between the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche that lasted for years. Lemieux's ability to score clutch goals and ignite chaos made him a unique blend of talent and villainy. He's still a name that comes up whenever hockey's most hated players are discussed. Sean Avery, the master of chaos. This guy wasn't just a pest, he was a walking controversy. Known for his trash-talking and outrageous behavior, Avery pushed the boundaries of sportsmanship. His infamous sloppy seconds comment about a fellow player's relationship earned him a suspension, and his antics during the playoffs led to the creation of the Avery rule. Avery's behavior on and off the ice eventually became too much for teams to handle. His time with the New York Rangers and Dallas Stars ended in frustration, and he faded from the league. Love him or hate him, Avery's impact on the NHL is unforgettable and often infuriating. Cory Perry, the worm who won't quit. Cory Perry has spent nearly 2 decades being one of the NHL's most annoying players. Nicknamed the Worm, Perry's sneaky stick work and trash talking earned him a reputation as a player you love to hate. But Perry wasn't just a pest, he was also incredibly skilled. A Stanley Cup champion with the Anaheim Ducks in 2007, Perry also won the Hart Trophy in 2011 and Olympic gold medals with Team Canada in 2010 and 2014. Despite his accolades, he's had his share of suspensions, including a 5-game ban for elbowing Ryan Ellis in the 2020 Winter Classic. Even as his offensive skills declined, Perry continued to frustrate opponents with his aggressive style. His ability to get under people's skin has been a constant throughout his career. Matthew Tkachuk, the next generation of villainy. Matthew Tkachuk has quickly established himself as one of the NHL's top players and one of its biggest pests. Since debuting in 2016, Tkachuk has developed into an elite winger, scoring over 100 points in each of the past 2 seasons. But alongside his skill comes a knack for stirring up trouble. Tkachuk has been suspended 4 times and is notorious for his trash talk, sneaky hits, and ability to agitate opponents. During the 2023 playoffs, he got under the skin of Boston Bruins goalie Linus Ullmark so effectively that Ullmark tried to fight him. Tkachuk's combination of skill and villainy makes him one of the most talked about players in today's NHL, and a fitting addition to the list of bad guys. Tom Wilson, power forward with a mean streak. Tom Wilson is the modern enforcer. Playing for the Washington Capitals, Wilson combines size, skill, and physicality in a way that few players can match. A key contributor to the Capitals' 2018 Stanley Cup win, Wilson is also known for his controversial hits and fights. His most infamous moment came in 2021 when he body-slammed Artemi Panarin of the New York Rangers during a scrum. Panarin missed the rest of the season, and Wilson was fined $5,000, a penalty many felt was far too lenient. While injuries have slowed him down in recent years, Wilson remains one of the NHL's most polarizing figures. So from Eddie Shore's brutal hits to Matthew Tkachuk's sneaky tactics, these players have shaped the NHL's history and culture. They're the players fans love to hate, but can't stop watching.